Hey there and welcome back to our Mass Effect Insanity playthrough. My name is Pete and today we complete a lot of dialogue on the Citadel. Last time we left off we spoke to this guy here, Zoltan, as well as the Alcor and Volus ambassadors. Today we will go through the rest of the embassy area, and to get to the other side we have to pass the embassy receptionist who we can chat to get to codex entries.
Good day, Commander. The human ambassador is up the stairs, first room on the right.
Thanks, I know, that's where we came from. And then how does she know who we are?
You know who I am?
Yes, I receive reports on all newly arrived dignitaries and notable people.
Interesting, so mind telling us more about the embassies?
What is this place?
This is the Presidium. More specifically, you are at the Citadel Embassies. If you have more questions, please access Avina.
Who and or what is Avina?
What's that?
Oh, Avina is the virtual guide for the Citadel. Feel free to access the terminal yourself.
Ooh, fancy, a virtual guide. And who are you?
What's your name? What do you do here?
My name is Safiria. I'm the administrative assistant for the embassies.
So, got a lot to do?
You seem to be distracted.
The embassies are the hub of all Citadel politics. When you represent trillions of citizens, it tends to get a little busy.
Well then, I don't want to bother you any longer. Thanks for the chat. I'll see you around.
I should be going now.
Have a pleasant day.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we get 2 codex entries here, and now we can cross over to the other side, go up the stairs and through the door. None of the things we find in this area will really push the story forward, but there are quite a few interesting conversations and a few codex entries to be obtained.
I can't believe I landed a job here. This place is fantastic.
Well, congratulations. And that's codex entry number 1 and codex entry number 2.
Human, delighted, welcome. It is good to meet you.
And it's quite interesting that the Alcor seem to be very fond of humans. I have not yet found a reason explaining why. And before we think too hard about that, let's pay a visit to Executor Pallin, head of Citadel Security.
Commander Shepard, I didn't expect to see you here. Did Ambassador Udina send you?
As a matter of fact, no, he did not.
I came on my own. I need information.
You humans are always so curious, always sticking your fingers into someone else's pie. Is that the right expression? Never mind, forget I asked. Was there something you needed, Commander?
So, got a bit of a problem with humans, huh?
I get the feeling you're not too fond of humans.
No, I just don't trust your kind. Not yet. You humans are eager to take all the power you can get, and you're being given a lot. If the Council wants to make humanity their new favorite pet, that's their business. But I don't have to like it.
The Council treats us like second-class citizens. We have to fight for everything we get.
Good. Then fight for it. But don't expect the rest of us to just sit back and let you take it. I'm a busy man, Commander. Are we done here?
Nope. You're head of CSEC, and I want that codex entry.
Tell me about CSEC.
CSEC provides necessary police and security services throughout the Citadel. We're a civilian government agency, though many of our members have had military training. Of course, as the CSEC representative to the Council, I spend most of my time liaising between the two.
So you're both familiar with Citadel Security and the Council. Do you by any chance have any info on the Spectres?
What do you know about the Spectres?
They're the right hand of the Council, or so they like to be called. More like the underhanded side of the Council.
I get the feeling you're not too fond of them.
What do you have against the Spectres?
I can't abide any organization that considers itself above the law. Especially when it's left up to each individual Spectre to decide when and how to bend the rules.
Well, maybe sometimes you don't really have a choice.
Sometimes you have to bend the law to keep people safe.
I've been with CSEC for 30 years. I've never had to break the law to do my job, not once.
Yeah, right. You expect us to believe none of your officers are corrupt?
There are over 200,000 CSEC agents. Some of them are going to be bad. But we don't turn a blind eye to corruption like the Spectres do. We do our best to find and punish any officer who breaks the law. Spectres? They'll never come under that kind of scrutiny.
Nonetheless, they do play a pretty important role, right?
The galaxy needs people like that. People who do the dirty jobs.
I agree. But they need to be held to a higher standard. They need to be accountable. Saren's out of control. We both know that. But because he's a Spectre, the Council doesn't want to do anything about it. Is that the kind of person this galaxy needs?
Well, obviously not, no.
But not all Spectres are like Saren.
True, but the potential is always there.
And since we just spoke about Saren,
Tell me about your investigation into Saren.
Sorry, Commander. I don't make a habit of giving out details about ongoing investigations.
yes, I understand. Alright then, that's it for now.
I'll be going now.
Goodbye, Commander.
Goodbye. And before we leave his office, there is one thing left to do, and that is to decrypt this computer console here. And we get another side quest based on a diplomatic advisory warning. The following message was transmitted from an untraceable account to multiple recipients across the extranet. Further monitoring of the situation is warranted. My fellow biotic, you have been selected to receive this transmission because of our shared plight. Few understand us, fewer tolerate us. We must stand together. We must build our own new world. Come, join us in the Hawking Ether cluster. Only as one body can we right the wrongs done to our kind. Biotics grouping together, that sounds like something we should investigate. Now let's get out of Palin's office, and there is one last room left to investigate in the embassy area, and that's the bar.
This place seems strange. Wish there were more humans around.
Oh, how diplomatic of you.
Don't believe the rumors. The consort would never reveal her secrets.
Of course she wouldn't. She'd be tossed out the nearest airlock if she did.
I suppose. Besides, Nick, the consort's nothing like the girls back on the colonies. She's...
You don't have to do it with her. You can just talk to her if you want.
Is that all you did, Jazz? Just talk?
I didn't say that.
Ha! I bet you did too.
Oh god.
What do you want? Oh, Commander. Is there something I can do for you?
Relax, Private. This isn't an inspection.
Right, sorry. What can I do for you, Commander?
You were talking about the Asari consort, weren't you?
What can you tell me about the Asari consort?
Well, she's an Asari who works here as... That is, she helps people with things.
You never went to see her, did you, Fredericks?
No, I never did. I couldn't afford it. It costs half a year's credits just to go in and talk to her.
Well, that made her a lot more interesting. Where can I find her?
Can you at least tell me where I can find her?
Sure. She's across the bridge from the embassies.
Thanks, kid. Have fun. Try not to get into too much trouble.
I will. Have fun, that is.
Yeah, you enjoy yourself, Private. Meanwhile, we can keep in mind this Asari named Nasana, who we can't talk to just yet, so let's instead chat with the bartender.
Hello, Commander. Can I get you something?
Yep, sure, go ahead.
What have you got?
Information, mostly. Would you like to know about some points of interest nearby?
Well, yeah, sure, always.
What's going on around here?
Well, you found the embassies, not much going on here. Across the bridge, you'll find the bank, the Emporium, and Shaira's. If you haven't heard of her, you soon will. If you need supplies, you can try the markets one level below. For entertainment, I'd try Flux or Cora's Den.
So what's Shaira's? That's an interesting name.
What is Shaira's?
The consort, she entertains clients who can afford her services. Most of the diplomats and ambassadors have visited her at one time or another. She's a very powerful woman, but also very respectable.
So that concert seems to come up again and again. And what else is there for entertainment?
Tell me about Flux and Cora's Den.
Well, Flux has gambling and dancing, certainly more lively than this place. Cora's Den, on the other hand, well, let's just say it's livelier and deadlier, all at the same time.
Well, that sounds just like the place for us. We'll be going now, there is not much more to ask.
Goodbye.
So long, Commander. Have a pleasant day.
Yeah, I don't know about that just yet. Alright, that's it for the embassies. There are now 2 more conversations that I think we should do, and they are both with the Citadel guide Avina. One of them is right in front of the embassies, and the other one is in front of the Citadel Tower, where we will go to next.
Allow me to be your guide. Greetings and welcome to the Presidium. My name is Avina, and I am pleased to be your virtual guide throughout this level of the Citadel space station.
A virtual guide? Well, I'd like to have that at home.
What does that mean?
I am a fully interactive virtual intelligence, programmed to provide spontaneous guidance at predetermined locations of interest throughout this level of the Citadel. I may also be contacted through any of the Presidium VI terminals, should you require assistance.
Well then, virtual guide, guide us.
Give me the tour.
You are standing at Presidium Tourism Terminal 1. On either side of this lobby are the embassies of the various Citadel races, along with CSEC headquarters. On the far end of this level, you can see the Citadel Tower, where the Council meets regularly to discuss matters of interstellar importance.
Okay, and since we're at the embassies, let's start with that.
Tell me about the embassies.
Each species in Citadel space important enough to be consulted on matters of galactic politics maintains an embassy on the Presidium. The Volus were the first non-council species to be granted an embassy, roughly 2,384 galactic standard years ago. As Citadel space has expanded, more embassies have been added. The most recently added embassy belongs to your own species, humanity. It was added 19 galactic standard years ago, despite some rather vocal opposition.
Oh, how come? I mean, we're just humans, we've never done anything bad, have we?
Why were people trying to keep my species out?
Some species felt humanity was given preferential treatment. It often takes a century or more before a new species is granted an embassy. The Council gave a great deal of thought to this matter. In the end, they decided humanity's impact on Citadel space was significant enough to warrant an embassy.
Yeah, let's ask a virtual intelligence that has been programmed by somebody else, what do you think? That surely will work out just fine.
Do you agree with their decision?
I am not programmed to make that kind of qualified judgment. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations.
And remember Din Korlak, the Volus ambassador from the last video? His species was the first to be granted an embassy. And I think it's time we learn a bit more about that from someone with less attitude.
How come the Volus were the first species given an embassy?
In the early years following the formation of the Council, the Volus were, apart from the Asari and Salarians, the most populous and widespread species in Citadel space. They established many new colonies and trading outposts, and they petitioned the Council for a greater role in determining interstellar policy. In recognition of their work to expand interstellar trade and establish a standardized galactic economy, the Volus were granted an embassy here on the Citadel.
And why no seat in the Council?
Why weren't they made a council race?
The Council races have extensive responsibilities. They must provide personnel and ships for the Citadel fleets. They often provide economic aid in times of disaster. It would be unfair to demand such an enormous burden of a species unable to meet these obligations. The embassies allow lesser species to have a voice on the Citadel.
Lesser species? Oh.
That's pretty damn arrogant.
I apologize if my personality has offended you. Please submit all formal complaints in writing to the Citadel Tourist and Visitor Board.
Okay, quick change of topics. Let's talk about CSEC, since we just talked to Executor Pallin.
I want to know more about Citadel security.
Citadel security serves as law enforcement for all regions of the Citadel, though the majority of officers serve in the wards. Executor Pallin, a Turian, is the current head of CSEC, but individuals from virtually every species across Citadel space serve as officers beneath him. If you wish to learn more, Executor Pallin's office is located in the CSEC headquarters just across the lobby.
Yeah, we already spoke with him. And one thing we talked about with him was specters. But he seemed to be a bit prejudiced in that regard. So maybe we can learn a bit more here.
Do you know anything about specters?
The term Spectre is derived from the branch of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. Each Spectre agent is handpicked by the Council. Their primary role is preserving galactic stability and resolving volatile situations that cannot be handled through normal political channels. In this role, they are granted extraterritorial rights and jurisdictions. Spectres answer to no law or authority except the Council itself.
Okay, and since you just mentioned the Council?
What can you tell me about the Citadel Council?
Originally, the Council consisted of representatives from the Asari and Salarians, the two dominant species in Citadel space. Roughly 1,304 galactic standard years ago, Turians were invited to join the Council in recognition of the role they played during the Krogan Rebellion. Since then, the three Council races have worked together to ensure the peaceful coexistence of the galactic community, while preserving individual autonomy for each species.
Sounds lovely. Bit too lovely.
It can't be as simple as that. There must be problems somewhere in the system.
I am not programmed to make that kind of qualified judgment. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations.
Well then, now that we have all available information from you, let's move on.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you for using Avina. Please enjoy your visit to the Citadel.
I will. The next thing we do is we'll actually talk to Avina again. Not this one, a different one. And Avina number 2 is in front of the Citadel Tower, and that is obviously also where we're going right now. Now, in theory, we could also start with a few side quests before doing that, but I would like to get the first meeting with the Council over with, since that opens up a lot more possibilities for things to do on the Citadel, so that in the end we don't have to visit everything twice. The only downside to that first Council meeting is that the meeting itself and the dialogue afterwards take about 12 minutes, so I hope you understand that I'll put the entire thing in the next video. That does make this video a bit boring in regards to the story, but that's the life of a completionist.
Look at that bug thing over there. What's it doing?
Please do not disturb the keepers. Welcome to Presidium Tourism Terminal 2. You are standing near the base of the Citadel Tower, one of the Presidium's most recognizable and important structures. Behind me is the spectacular Relay Monument, a scale model representation of a Prothean mass relay. To your left is one of the keepers, the enigmatic caretakers of the Citadel, working on a control panel. You may see keepers involved in various tasks throughout all levels of the Citadel. We ask that you do not interfere with them in any way. The keepers are essential to the smooth operation of the Citadel. Obstructing their daily work will result in harsh penalties, including incarceration and rehabilitation.
So those keepers seem to be quite important, right? Do you mind telling me what it is they do? I mean, don't get me wrong, but they look kinda interesting.
I'd like to know more about the keepers.
Little is known about these peaceful servants of the Citadel, though they are essential to the operation and maintenance of the entire station. Citadel regulations protect the keepers against interference during the performance of their tasks. Failure to comply will result in harsh penalties. Keepers can be seen in all sections of the Citadel, but are typically found in and around the tower.
So why is that?
Any particular reason there are so many keepers in this area?
The keepers do not communicate with other species. It is assumed, however, that the tower houses the Citadel's primary control systems. Many of the station's systems, such as navigation and life support, function automatically. It is believed the keepers operate those systems from inside the tower's inaccessible core. The keepers also make frequent appearances in the council chamber itself, though they appear to be just passing through on their way to some other destination.
Fascinating stuff. Now, we are at the Citadel Tower, and before we go in, I'd like to know what we're dealing with.
Tell me about the Citadel Tower.
Housing both the council chambers and Citadel control, the tower is one of the most important buildings on the station. Access to these areas is restricted to those with the appropriate clearance.
Now, Citadel Control, those were the guys that Joker contacted before we landed on the Citadel with the Normandy.
What happens in Citadel Control?
Citadel Control handles all incoming and outbound transit. Every ship within 2,000 kilometers of the Citadel is under the jurisdiction of Citadel Control. At peak capacity, they are responsible for monitoring upwards of 1,000 vessels.
And what exactly happens in the council chambers?
I'd like to hear more about the council chambers.
The business of the council, which often has far-reaching effects on the galactic community, is conducted in a room at the apex of the Citadel Tower. The council chambers themselves are truly a magnificent sight to behold, though few get to experience the view in person. Typically, only the councilors, ambassadors, and high-ranking officials, along with various support staff, are allowed access.
So the council basically works away from the public.
What if someone has business with the council?
The average citizen must go through the proper channels if they wish an audience with the council. This is usually arranged through their respective ambassadors. Even then, few are given access to the actual council chambers. In most cases, the ambassador acts on behalf of the citizen.
Yeah, now let's just share that info that we've been asked to go there, because why not?
I'm scheduled to have an audience with the council.
Only a handful of visitors to the Citadel are ever granted that privilege. I would be jealous, but that is outside the scope of my programming.
And now that relay monument you mentioned in the beginning, who made that?
Tell me about the relay monument.
Discovered by the Asari who first arrived at the Citadel, the relay monument is one of the station's most interesting and controversial features. What is the meaning behind this striking piece of art? Is it a tribute to Prothean vanity? A reminder of their conquest of the galaxy through mass relay technology? Or perhaps it is a symbol of unity, a Prothean acknowledgement that the relays would eventually lead other species here to the Citadel. No one can say for sure, making the relay monument a favorite topic of discussion among academics and scholars.
So nobody knows where this comes from. Well, that's quite interesting. We'll be going now.
That's all for now.
Thank you for using Avina. Have a pleasant day.
Yes, you too, Avina, and to you watching, have a pleasant day as well, because that is where we make the cut. Next time we'll deal with the aforementioned council meeting, and then see where the story goes from there. Until then, as usual, thanks for watching, cheers.